Okay, and we are live, you guys. Sorry we were late. Just had a bunch of things happen today. I think that we all did. And it's a small panel tonight, which is kind of unusual. But several people aren't feeling well. I'm sure you guys know that there's a bunch of stuff going on right now. Let me shout the chat out real quick. We've got Martingus, which is Marty. Thank you so much for coming. Mandolin 523, who we know is Mandy. Thank you so much for all the work you and Gemma and JR have been doing on chat. Looks like that's going to be a lot of fun. Terry T, always good to see you. All right, and Nancy, let me turn my phone down. Nancy, also Clarissa Thompson, somebody from the, somebody's got their phone on y'all. Clarissa Thompson, somebody from the community, but I believe she's new to our little neck of the woods. Sorry, baby girl, we were actually 30 minutes late. Just shit happens. Like with life, live stream can be a bit unpredictable. Well, I'm Jennifer, aka Lady Wolverton. I live in New Orleans. I don't pretend to be the best at Game of Thrones. I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. Amanda Duncan, hello to you and Sadie. And I think that's everybody. No, Sanchez was in here. And also we had another, somebody else that is new to me. Meyer 27. Stacy, is that you? Well, welcome. And glad to have everybody. Thanks for coming, y'all. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine. Mandy, is that what you're thinking about? All right. With that, I'll go ahead and let Bran introduce himself, and then Liz is going to introduce Sansa expert, our Midwestern girl who now lives in Canada, and our resident Sansa expert. Check out her links in the description. She does fanfic and other articles on the Sansa topic. And then we have Bran with us. So, Bran, if you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, you guys. You should know me by now. But if you're new, hello, I'm Bran. And I agree. Liz does really good work. I checked some of it out.
Oh,
Is you ready, babe?
Sure. Thank you, guys. That was so nice to say that I'm an expert about something. I don't know if I really am. But, yeah, I'm Liz, and I like Sansa a lot. I write fan fiction, so some of you may know me on Twitter or Tumblr or AO3 or Wattpad as Castalia Reed. So I write Janza fan fiction, and I'm also on Quora as Liz Gallo, and I answer and ask a lot of questions on Quora. Sometimes people don't always like my questions, and but I love to discuss it, and I always try to be fair and like talk about a lot of people's views and stuff. But today we are talking about Sansa 6, right? Should I just get into it?
Yeah, Sansa 6, chapter 67. Is that correct, Bran? Yeah, and yeah. I just a little bit of backstory. I used to go on Quora, which is basically just a place where people kind of post questions about different topics. And I was on there, and Liz either asked a question or answered one, and we met, and she was like, good to see somebody else on here. And just, you know, the kind of thing that you can't predict, but that is wonderful when somebody very like-minded as you, and you get on very well. And then I asked her, you know, hey, would you like to be on book club? And, I mean, the rest is history. The rest is history. She also has her own channel called Crazy Girl Productions.
Yep.
Check out some of her videos, guys.
Yeah, there's recordings of some of my fics there, so you can listen to me read to you.
Right. Well, you know what? When I started, I think I was pretty bad. I'm still pretty bad and still sometimes late, obviously. But I'm working every day to get a little bit better at this or that. And this community can be beautiful in that it helps each other out. So with that, take us on into the overview of Sansa. But just a little backstory. So Ned has been executed. And I don't think Sansa really saw that coming. She really thought he was going to be saved at the last minute. And she still had this fairy tale in her mind that Joffrey's the good prince. And we
know for sure
he's not.
No, I think she thought Ned was going to be saved. She really had the fantasy, and she thought she was going to be a part of helping him and saving him. You know, she was going to
the dutiful daughter. The dutiful daughter to a T. And now I don't think anybody knew what Joffrey was going to do. I think everybody, the small council or whatever, had pretty much decided to send Ned to the wall. And then Joffrey, you know, he really does. He rules with an iron fist. Him.
Yeah, well, and there's, you know, it's possible Littlefinger was influencing that. There's some theories around that, but
through that.
You know, it's hard to say, you know, even then I think Joffrey's pretty unpredictable. So
definitely unpredictable. And we even see Tywin say this and be very upset with Cersei, especially in the show. We see Tywin like Cersei doesn't like the fact that Marjorie's got her claws, so to speak, into Joffrey. And Tywin basically tells her, well, somebody needs to. So,
and I think Tywin, you know, just to kind of some backstory here, I think Tywin will eventually, I mean.
You froze for a minute. Just repeat that.
Oh, I think.
And stuff.
Yeah. And my internet is getting fixed for next week. So next week it'll be good. But Tywin, I think, really wasn't happy that he got, you know, Ned got his head cut off. Because, I mean, what was then stopping them once Jaime was captured from, you know, them cutting Jaime's head off? I mean, it's very fortunate that they didn't, well, for the Lannisters, that they didn't right away just do the same thing to Jaime. You know, that would have been a huge problem for Tywin. So, you know, it's dangerous what Joffrey did, for sure. I mean, it's politically dangerous. Aside from being terrible, it was just, you know, really not, you know, not okay. So yeah, let's get into the chapter. I just want to show this picture. Can everybody see the picture? Because I have the illustrated, so it's Sansa and the Hound, and I always think that's a nice picture for the end. And you have it too, right, Jen? Yep. Yeah, so we got the same one. Nice. So it starts out with Sansa in her room. She's basically been dreaming, sleeping, and going in and out of really bad sleep, dreaming. And every time she dreams, she's, you know, basically seeing her father again and seeing his head get cut off. She's not eating any of her food. She's just, not bathing. She's just in a really bad state. And so, yeah, and she just keeps kind of dreaming and reliving what happened.
Right. She keeps thinking of it over and over
again. And we don't really know how long, before somebody comes to the room, but I'd assume a couple days. And like I said, she's just a mess. She thinks about killing herself first. This is the first time. So she's pretty suicidal. She's just the trauma, the PTSD. Eventually, there are serving girls coming in. People are trying to talk to her, and she just won't talk to them. She's, and I don't know in this chapter, but she eventually, assumes that they're spies for the Lannisters, so she doesn't want to talk to them. They're nobody she knows. Pycelle comes in to examine her, and this is really, I didn't realize this happened so early in the book. I know that I think it happens again later, but he basically molests her. We were talking about
Maester Pycelle?
Yeah, Maester Pycelle comes in. He basically gives her something to drink to help her.
He roofies her.
Yeah, he molests her. He drugs her up. He's a creep.
Also, that's where they talk about he left her something as well. And she drank every bit of it.
Right.
So not only does she think about, I think, throwing herself out of a window, but she basically could have OD'd if it would have been, sweet sleep?
Yeah, like who knows? Yeah, she didn't know what she was taking. She was just gonna, So she's very, like I said, she's very suicidal. She's also now unprotected. So I think this
identify with that, with being so upset over something that you really just can't see your way through it at the moment. Very luckily, I've always been able to snap back out of it. I think one of the lowest points we see Sansa.
Oh, yeah. I think this is, and I would say in the books, one thing that I think the show, and I think they couldn't do this because the actress was so young when she was playing this role. I think that they really couldn't show her as low as she is in the books. And that contributes to some of the decisions they made later on the show and her character arc, in my opinion. But anyways.
I want to say hey to Reese in the chat and welcome back. So nice to tweet with you today. And I'm glad you came. I didn't know if you would or not, but as soon as we got done tweeting, I came over here and adjusted my settings, if you know what I mean. So.
And so, going on
I'm glad you stayed awake for the stream. It can be dangerous, to fall asleep before a stream.
Yes, it can. You gotta stay awake.
You look particularly nice tonight. Black's a nice color on you.
It's actually it's navy, but it looks black, and I do wear a lot of black. I wear a lot of black.
I actually wear a lot of navy. Oh.
But so she dreams again, and this time she has a dream that's like a little more disturbing. It's more about someone coming to hurt her, because she is afraid that they're going to come for her, and Illy's in it. She's very terrified of him.
She's kind of on tenterhooks, thinking any minute she could be next, because basically the retinue has been killed, with the exception of Aya, who escaped, but she still doesn't know that yet, right?
Right. And she doesn't know, So basically, and her dream is like also oddly, and I noticed this because also I read the next chapter, which is a Daenerys chapter, and there's some things there that I think relate to this one, but Sansa's dream is a little like almost disturbingly sexual. Like she thinks she's naked. She sees a door opening and a sword coming through, the point of a sword coming through. It's got these weird, these sexual connotations, which this dream happens after she's been molested by Pycelle. So there's some stuff going on there. And she continues to say this, I'll be good, which she says throughout the chapter. She's just terrified. I mean, she's just 11 years old and just absolutely terrified. And I think the beginning of this chapter really hits on that. And then finally they do come, and Joffery comes. And this is really when the, a lot more of the abuse starts. And Joffery tells her she has to go to court with him. She has to attend him in court. And the Hound is there, and Sir Trant, Marin Trant is there. And they basically force her to get out of bed. And, she's just in a thin nightgown. And they're basically telling her she has to do this. She's got to listen to him. And, Sansa points out, like, I did as you asked. I wrote the letter. I did all these things. She's like, I won't do any treason, which I think is very important. Sansa talks about she's not going to do treason. She's going to do treason later on in life, but not, but like, it's kind of like many a true, you say it so many times, like, oh no, I won't do that. I won't do that. Like, yeah, she is. But I also think that the abuse, they make her do treason, right? And it's not just against them. I think she's going to do it to Daenerys. But anyways, that's another point. So she keeps saying, I'll be good. And she's also, remembering her courtesies. So she's just, I'll do what you say. And the courtesy is her armor. And she's just it's that courtly politeness, just doing the right thing and knowing things, doing her duty. Joffery tells her they still have to get married. Where are my notes? And she doesn't want to. And he tells her, oh, I gave your father a clean death. I was merciful. And, she basically tells Joffery she hates him. And that's when he has Marin Trant hit her for the first time. So Sansa, she's defiant with him, despite all of this, despite all of her fear and stuff. She's still defiant in her own way, and she pays for that. And so she's, and then she kind of comes to terms where she has to go to court, and then she's talking to the Hound, and she just asks the Hound, like, what does he want from me? Like, why is he, basically, like, why is he doing this? Why is he, and Sandor Clegane tells her, he just wants you to repeat the words. He wants you to just be the little bird that you've been taught to be. And I think the Hound is both, he's trying to protect her.
Yes,
like,
I think that's
don't get
that.
But he's also a little bit enabling the situation, right? But what can he do? So
right.
I mean, he doesn't have a lot of options.
Yeah, he's doing actually all he can do. And just for show only, we always get a lot of Sansa hate, but I'm sorry. When they were standing up there on those battlements and she was having to look at the severed heads, I personally felt as though I saw that crazy that only another woman who knows about it knows, where she thought about pushing Joffery off, and when the Hound came up and put his hand on her shoulder and was like, come on, girl, and acted like she was in danger, he knew what the hell. And there, I think he kind of garnered a little bit more respect than he had always had for her. It's the first interaction we have, I think, with them two, where he sees her as something more than a little bird, a little pawn. He saw that in that moment, she thought about pushing him to his death.
Yeah. And I think even, in the beginning of this chapter, when she is just, like, we see her just, she's being defiant. And he's, I think, trying to be like, no, you can't be like that. And the thing to note in the books about the book Hound is he's a little bit younger than the show version of him. And he's, got the horrific scar. But he's also, I've read some things where he's actually supposed to be, like, if he didn't have that terrible scar, he would be, like, better looking.
Right.
And he's dark and tall. And I think he has gray eyes, but somebody maybe in the chat can So this.
Well, you know what I say, and I always have said this. I feel like perfection is not as beautiful sometimes as an imperfection. Scars give character.
Yeah.
Sometimes a beautiful face, but like Tom Hardy is very attractive to me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's attracted to a lot of people.
Right. And he is very handsome, but he also has a few scars and things that give him more character than the perfect model has. In the hello, Lady Dreamfryer. I missed you in the opening when I said hello to everybody in the chat because I think you weren't here yet, or either I missed you. Either way, I apologize, but you're here now. You're here now, so welcome, lady. Okay, Antique Gamer says, when you are a pawn on someone's chessboard, you do what you need to do to survive while you still want to live, while you still have that spark of life.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And
well said.
And I think in this chapter, Sansa's wrestling with that spark a bit. To keep it alive, really, because she wants to put it out. It's and then as we go to so they leave her. She gets dressed. Trant comes back to get her to go to attend Joffery in court, and she straight tells him, she asks him if he's going to hit her again, and she tells him he's no true knight. And he just doesn't. Trant does not care. He
doesn't give two shits. He doesn't give an F. In fact, he knows it, and it doesn't bother him a bit. He is, to me, the epitome of what Machiavelli meant when he was basically like, you only need the appearance of being something, a knight, a prince. You can be the worst piece of shit in the world as long as you keep it somewhat under wraps. And of course, we know as book readers and as show watchers, he's basically a pedo. And there's no other way to say it. He enjoys.
Yeah, and Trent, I mean, he's dangerous because he is just no emotion. I feel like
he had also beat Sansa earlier in the day. I believe it's mentioned in the book. He comes in 3 hours after having beat her blood till his hands were bloody to ask her to get ready to come to court.
Right, exactly. And that's when she says you're no true knight. And, she kind of notices the difference between him and the Hound, and she makes a distinction there.
Marty says, pedophile sadist, Amanda Duncan, Trant is a twat. Beautifully said. Riso says character is the most important. 100% it is. It is. Looks, looks are always nice, but hey, they fade. They fade. Terry T, a little character goes a long way. Yes, it does.
Yeah. And so then, she goes to court. Joffrey's just being a dick, cruel, he's just cruel.
Yes.
He's just a
there's a thief that comes in, and he has his hand cut off.
Right.
Then there's
his hand cut off
to plead just for a decent burial of her accused traitor lover, and he says something to the effect of, "If you loved a traitor, you're a traitor too." And she's hauled off.
And then she makes, there's two knights having a land dispute, and he makes them fight to the death. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
It's
so cool that
letting a child, what kind of region is Cersei? This is why Tyrion got sent to King's Landing.
Right.
Ridiculous.
And then Janos Slint, and then there's what I call the Janos Slint passage, and this is another one, along with the Pycelle incident that I forgot happened in this book. In my head, I kept thinking they happened in the second, later in the second book. But this is one of the most yeah, especially for people who are Sansa shippers, this is like one of the most important passages, because basically Sansa sees Janos Slynt, remembers that he held her father down, threw him down, basically understands that he betrayed, you know, she instinctually knows that he betrayed her father, and she says, you know, I wish someone, she thinks to herself, I wish someone would come throw him down and cut off his head. And then she kind of just says, but there's no heroes. You know, only the monsters win. She kind of remembers what Littlefinger told her, the songs, you know, I'll just read it. There are no heroes, and she remembered what Lord Peter had said to her. Here in this very hall, life is not a song, sweetling, he told her. You may learn that one day to your sorrow. In life, the monsters win, she told herself. And now it was the point.
That's very interesting. Here we have this in the very first book, before the Night's King and everything. The monsters always win.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the fact that it comes in this passage where then, you know, what is it like? 5 books later, Jon cuts off Janos Slynt's head. Remind me if that's. I don't know if it's in A Dance with Dragons or in the very, very end of
Game. You froze for just a minute.
Storm of Swords.
Yeah. Okay. The third book. Would you repeat that? You had frozen. I'll mute.
But
say it again. We missed it. Something about Storm of Swords. You cut out.
Oh, I froze. Oh. Okay. So yeah, and I was just I'm gonna put. I missed a little bit what you might have said, but
I said that whatever you were saying about Storm of Swords had cut out. So if you could that.
I just said I wasn't sure if when Jon cuts off Janos Slynt's head, if it's at the very end of A Storm of Swords or the very beginning of A Dance with Dragons. And maybe someone in the chat can remind me. I just didn't have time to look that up. I should know that. But,
well, I tell you what, Candy Moore said nobody was sorry to see Slynt go. Hey, Candy, how are the babies, girl? I hope your health is well. And
we can talk more once I finish the overview. We can talk more about, you know, the Janos Slynt passage. But I just want to put forward the idea, like I kind of think that Jon sort of becomes that hero, but he's also, with him dying and coming back, he's a bit of a monster too, because he's very. I think he's going to come back very feral, and having been in Ghost, and there's all kinds of symbolism in Jon's stuff about him being beast-like, and like Janos Slynt like says terrible things to him. Anyways, but I find it interesting that we see that this early in the books, and that George R. R. Martin was planning to have Janos Slynt's head cut off way back in the very beginning.
Mm. And we have a statement right here from Candy Moore. Says she does not trust people who don't like cake. Me either. I understand people who scrape the icing off, but no cake at all. Right. Mandy says, I have lemon tart in the back of the fridge. She threw out today. Okay.
I want a lemon tart. Sansa wants a lemon tart.
Right, she sure does. Nancy T, I love lemon cake too. That's Lord Wolverton. His favorite cake is lemon or then orange.
Oh, that's good.
But mostly lemon. You're going to make him a birthday cake, you make him a lemon cake.
I make a really good lemon pie. I make a good lemon pie.
Do you? Like with meringue?
Yes, a lemon meringue pie, make a really good one.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well when I visit,
I will make you a lemon pie.
To have a lemon meringue pie. It's that I never cared for till I got older. And now I have quite the taste for key lime and lemon.
So what happens next, Liz?
Happy birthday, Antique Gamer. Wait, no. You're saying that today in Australia, in Perth, it was very hot. I'm sorry. I know it's y'all's summer.
Oh, I'm gonna turn off my video just so I can get through this part, and then I'll turn it.
Okay, let's
on.
all turn off our video and let you get through, and then we'll go back over everything else.
Yeah. And then next week, I know it's gonna be better. I'm telling you all. Anyway, so after court, Joffery confronts her, and once, you know, obviously she's like, her ordeal isn't over, so he makes her, basically they walk to the parapet. She doesn't realize this is where they're going right away, to go see, Joffrey's gonna make her look at the heads. But as they're walking, you know, she keeps doing these little acts of defiance. She calls him my lord. And Joffery thinks, oh, she's just being stupid. I wonder if she is. I think that she's doing some things very intentionally. Yeah, on purpose. Just
she's not stupid. I think she's learned how to give a little backhanded dig that and play it off as, oh, I forgot, I'm stupid. But no, that's really the only kind of power or
defiance.
The only place she has, and I think she does it to keep herself sane.
Right, and I think she does it. You know, I just, like I said, I have to share it, maybe in the comments of this or somehow. I don't know. I can send it to you to put in the description. But there's a real good meta about Sansa's courtesies that I read just today, and about how she uses them as armor.
I need you to leave a comment after the video, and I can make you a moderator. Unless you can explain to me real quick how to go out and make you a moderator.
Okay. I will. I try. Sometimes it doesn't always let me leave them the one time, but anyway, so she sees that
on any video, just an emoji. I enjoy this, anything, and then I know how to go right there and make you a moderator.
Okay.
And I know there's another way, but I don't remember. This is the kind of thing, you know, you learn by repetitiveness, and that's not something I really do very often. So.
Yeah.
My bad. Do it from the chat, Jen. I watch the chat on my phone. Now, AU, everybody hold on with me real quick. We all teach each other here. Now, I'm no computer expert. AU taught me most of what I know, and several other people, and I thank him for that. I know what you mean, that you can go out of the computer and say something in the chat, but how do I open another window, basically? Is that what I need to do? Hold on. I think I know what I'm doing. Hold on. I think, yeah. We'll see what.
But yeah, so here,
now I need your channel URL, which I can, Crazy Girl Productions, right?
Yep.
Okay, just one moment, everybody. I'm going to try to get Liz as a moderator so she can drop some of her work up in here.
Well, this is a meta I think that's good for this one that I didn't write. It's somebody else wrote it, and it's, you know, like I said, it's about her Sansa's courtesy. I can also tweet it out too afterwards.
Well, how do your channel CRAZEE?
What is my channel? I don't even know.
No, is it spelled CRAZEE? Girl Productions, all one word?
Yeah. CRAZEE GRL.
CRAZEE. ZEE, girl.
GRL, yeah, Productions.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Okay.
I think. Hold on, let me see. Okay, here, Crazy Girl Productions. Okay, see if I get ya. No, I get a J Davis.
Oh, I'll have to figure it out. I'll try to say something. Let me get my iPad. I'm just trying to conserve my bandwidth. But
how do I pop the chat out? But how do I pop the chat out on my computer? I open up another tab and do what?
I do not know.
What I do, I open up a tab and go to the chat again. All right, let me see if I can get it this way.
Oh wait.
And Liz, can you type something in the chat?
I'm going to it now actually on my iPad.
Okay.
Just so yeah. But I'm not the chat.
Okay, babe. That's because I have two tabs open on, so you're gonna hear me twice. I think we got it, Terry T. I'm sorry.
Where is? Now I can't find, like, I'm on the video and I can't find the chat on my iPad. Oh, here it is. Never mind.
Yeah, just write anything.
Oh, now it it crashed on the iPad. So I have so many internet.
Okay. Okay, well, just take your time and try to do it again. And if you will do that, then I can make you a moderator.
It's crashing on my iPad. It's not letting.
Okay, if you could tell me, perhaps.
Don't worry. You know what? I'll send it out. I'll send it later after. Like
what your channel? Hold on, I can try something else.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not. Yeah, it keeps crashing.
Oh, now I'm on a mission.
I don't know why it's doing that. Usually
okay. Crazy Girl Productions. I'm typing it CRAZEEGIRL Productions.
I don't think that's not. Hold on, that's not.
Okay, I need to know the correct one. Wait, I have it in my subscriptions. I think I can go there.
Yeah.
Hold on just a sec. If I can find it, I am subscribed to so many people. And speaking of, while we're in here, there's a lot of creators in here. And even if somebody's not a creator, you never know when they're going to become one. But go and hit on everybody's icon and sub to them. Okay, I'm trying to find your URL. Are y'all there? Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here. I think Liz should continue with the overview.
Okay. Yeah, I think she should too. Just go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Okay, I think you couldn't hear me for a minute. I was trying to talk and I don't think you could hear me.
Right.
So she goes up to the
continue with
parapet.
the overview.
Yes, I can. So yeah, she basically gets up to the parapet. She looks out over the city, and she really looks north to try to see Winterfell. Of course, she can't see it, but you know, she thinks about it, and she kind of directs herself that way. And Jeffrey's like, "What are you looking at?" And you know, he forces her to look at the heads, and you know, she doesn't want to see. She sees her father's head, and she says, you know, I can look, but he can't make me see, which is another moment of defiance for her, right? You know, it's basically he can think he's making her do these things, but he can't have her heart. He can't have her soul.
Right, like she can do what she wants in her mind.
Right. And then they kind of keep going. So, and she even says the head doesn't really look like her father. It doesn't look real. It doesn't look. So she's also telling herself these things in her head, you know. And then
you know what? And I used to do that when I was a child. I don't know if you guys did that, but sometimes when my parents were yelling at me or what have you, I would be thinking I would be off somewhere else in my head.
Yeah. And then, you know, and then she sees Septim Mordane's head, and she's very shocked by this, because even though she kind of tells herself I should have known, but she says something, I think she makes a really interesting point, which is, you know, but Septim Mordane was God-sworn. Like, and Joffrey gets upset with this, because I think there's a realization that, like, you know, he shouldn't have done that. Like, what was he doing killing a septa, right? And
right.
And that really, you know, she's like, oh, she notices, he gets upset. And from a lot of standpoints, you know, it highlights just what a bad decision all of this was for Joffrey politically. Like, you know, you start killing religious, you know, the septons and septas, you're just bad.
Gonna make some enemies.
Right. And then Joffrey, then he goes and he asks her, like, well, what are you going to get me for my name day? And he goes, well, I'll get you something. And he says, I'll bring you your brother's head. And this is when then she says, well, maybe he'll give me yours. And again, she's defiant again, and he has Meryn Trant hit her again. So I didn't count up in this, but she's definitely, like, actively defies him 3 or 4 times, you know, in this chapter, in these sometimes very obvious ways and sometimes very subtle ways. So she's really, you know, I think people say Sansa is, you know, being a pawn in this. I think she's really trying to figure out how she doesn't have to be a pawn. And she's being defiant here and doing these things. So, you know, everything that she mentions. And then at the same time,
I believe she's making it so that she can live.
Right. Live another day so that she can exact her revenge later on. And so and then she has her moment where she thinks she's going to kill Joffrey, and she could just push him right there. And she doesn't care about herself. Like, this is, as we know, like we said in the beginning of the chapter, she's suicidal. She thinks she could just push him over the edge of the parapet. Even if she fell with him, she didn't care. And it's the hound that really stops her. And Meryn Trant hits her twice before this, and then she thinks she wants to kill Joffrey. And the hound stops her. It says here, and he wipes, you know, the blood from her face. And her broken lip.
Now that you are a moderator, so whenever you're ready, you can add that stuff. I
will. Thank you. And
the last one. Thank you, AU. You told me, and I got it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And so the last line of this chapter is, you know, she was a good girl and always remembered her courtesies. And I think this is a moment where, you know, if you think of her courtesies as her armors and her weapons, you know, she kind of, I think, makes a decision at this point that she's going to survive this, and she's going to fight in her own way.
Right, I agree. Like at first, when she spent that time in bed, wasn't showering, wasn't eating, she couldn't see her way through it. But I think that day he ordered her to court, she saw just how cruel he was.
Yeah.
And specifically, when she keeps reliving what Joffery had done, when really, like we already talked about, she thought to the very end her father was at the very least going to get sent to the wall. And she thinks to herself, not only did he do what he did in ordering, bring me his head, but he smiled at it when he did. And that's what really pushes her over the edge. Basically, her whole world is just falling apart. Her father, her retinue, according to her, probably her sister. Everybody's dead, except Mordain, all of their household servants, guards, etc. And then Joffery just, I think he doesn't even realize it. What kept her going was his shittiness, smile. And I think in that moment, she thought to herself, not only will I live through it, but one day.
Yeah, no, I think Joffrey sealed his fate as far as in this chapter. And I sometimes think she understood more. I mean, I don't know what y'all think, but I think she understood a little bit more.
Antique Gamer says Sansa is a survivor. Free Vengeance says, yep, that sounds about right. Antique Gamer, I think Bran agrees with that. Bran, what do you have to say about that, sweetie?
About Sansa
being a survivor, and when do you think? We know she was forced to go to court, but when do you think the light slipped onto her that not only was she going to make it through this, but she was going to have her revenge in this life or the next?
I'm not sure whenever that came to her, but I really liked it whenever she wanted to push him off the edge. But I mean, he was acting crazy in court, cutting people's hands off and telling people that they have one day to decide if they want their fingers or their tongues cut off. So like, it was, I think whenever she said that his lips looked like worms, that's probably when she decided
that she was through with him.
Yeah.
That's another thing, you guys. It must have been really hard for her to have him so far up on this pedestal and already have lost so much. And I'm speaking of Lady in particular, but also other things, because I don't think she was glad that Michael was killed. I think she thought it was uncouth sometimes that her sister associated with more common people. But I think, more things started to add up. And the final culmination of that was not only the fact that he killed her dad because he was a confessed traitor, but that he enjoyed it. And she saw that.
Yeah, no, I think she sees just how much, a monster that she is. And I don't know if in the books she has this line later on when she goes to speak to the Tyrells, Olenna and Marjorie, and they ask her, about Joffrey, and she doesn't want to say. And then, in the show, she basically says he's a monster. And I think she says that in the books too, but I can't remember.
She does talk about definitely monsters in this chapter. Liz, you froze, I believe. All right, I'm going to turn my camera off. Okay, I'm going to turn my camera off and mute.
I think
you go ahead, Liz.
Oh. Sorry, what was that again? I missed what you said. It went out for a moment.
You were cutting out and bouncing, whatever your last statement was.
Oh, it was just about him being a monster, about Joffery really, her coming to that place about him being a monster. That was all I
think in this chapter, we see Sansa go, basically, we've seen her little by little go from hero worship to hate. And it all culminates finally in this chapter with the fact that he not only, like I said, killed her father, but enjoyed killing him. Enjoyed it. Like, you know, you hear Ned Stark say that he never enjoyed killing people, but that's, you know, that's not Joffrey for sure.
No, Joffrey's pretty terrible, and I think there's an interesting thing going on here between also like comparing like the Hound and Meryn Trant, and also I don't know, the Hound. I'm not sure if it's the Hound and Joffrey or what, but like this idea that the Hound is so like he's got this horrible scar. He's called the Hound, which is kind of a like monstrous
derogatory.
Yeah, it's this name, and yet he's not really the monster in this chapter, right? Joffrey is, and I think that's interesting.
I think you're right, and I think that's a reoccurrent theme in the books. That a lot of the people who have the best facade of being angelic, so to speak, are actually the monsters hidden in plain sight.
While we're comparing characters and talking about in plain sight and everything, in our last Arya chapter, when she was coming up on the Wind Witch, she was talking about how she needs to see with her eyes. And then Sansa's doing the opposite in this chapter when she says, you can make me look with my eyes, but you can't make me see anything.
That's such a good point. That's such a good catch.
And I agree with you, Jen. I think Sansa's waking up to the hate. Hello?
I'm sorry, you guys. Russell was talking to me about dinner and cookies, and I completely missed what. I know. I mean, God love Russell, but it's very hard sometimes to do 3 things at once here. What did I miss? I'm so sorry. I want to go to the chat for a minute, if that's okay with you guys. You guys, what were you saying?
Bran made a good point about Arya seeing.
Oh yeah, Bran was comparing characters. Bran, would you mind going back over that? Russell had something to say to me, and I had to mute and listen.
I was just talking about how in the last Arya chapter, whenever she was going up to the Wind Witch, she was saying that she needs to look with her eyes and see with her eyes. And then in this chapter, Arya was, Sansa was saying, you can make me see with my eyes, but like you can't make me look at it. You know, like I want to see what you're.
Exactly. You mean when her father was being executed?
Whenever she was looking at his head on the side.
Oh, the severed heads. Very good point. Let me go to the chat for just a minute. Kerri McDonald says, Joffrey has worm lips, grody. Amanda Duncan, I just wish she would have asked where Arya was or wondered where Arya was. I think she actually does, like, not in this chapter, but does anybody know when she does end up asking about Arya? I believe when she is made to write the letter.
No, I don't. I think when she writes the letter, she doesn't. She gets back to her room and realizes she didn't ask about Arya.
That's right. She realizes that she didn't, and it's not as bad as it seems. It's just,
yeah.
I believe, you know how sometimes, like a while ago, when I got overwhelmed because Russell's trying to tell me about supper and cookies and this, that, and the other, that I couldn't listen to what Bram was saying also. I think she was so overwhelmed having to write the lies in the letter, having to still be like, I don't have traitor's blood. Because let's remember, out of all the siblings, she was the most critical of the fact that John was a... So for her to be a traitor's daughter and basically a social pariah, it's a new experience for her. And she is going through PTSD, anxiety, depression. And I think when she got in there, it's not that she didn't care about Arya. I think she would have loved to have, had Arya with her. But I believe she was just so overwhelmed. It was actually the last thing on her mind. Because she knew the letter wasn't true, but she wanted to do anything she could to try to save her father. Bram, what do you think?
About Sansa begging for
about Sansa not asking after Arya. What do you think the reason behind it is?
I don't know. I don't think Sansa really, thinks about her sister that much. Because, like, whenever she went in to talk to Cersei, whenever she came out, she was like, oh, yeah, I forgot to ask about Arya. But she didn't seem that guilty about it.
Right. But she does have a lot going on. John Greenhands / Johnny Indy Boots / Johnny the Irish Wildling is in the chat. He says, yo, making food that is not good for the carbs. Dropping love before we go pick up our pups soon. Oh, you getting a new puppy? Awesome. One love to Jen and all the chat. Rock that chapter. Thank you so much. And I tell you what, I believe that Johnny is one of the nicest guys in this community and most underrated. Him and Eris. She's a hell of an artist, and he can do damn near anything. They could be the power couple of Thrones YouTubers if they wanted. I definitely believe that. And he's certainly always the wittiest person in the room.
Oh.
And yeah, same as what Reese said. Revenge. Well, I've got the camera on. Y'all just missed Russell in his boxer briefs, but I had the camera on. Johnny says, no. Hey, Reese. Yeah, Reese said, before, I wanted to read Reese's comment. Reese says that she believes Sansa already wrote the letter before this. I believe you're right. Yeah. I do. That was in the last Sansa chapter, I believe. Exactly.
It
go ahead.
It's in Sansa 4.
Okay.
So she writes the letter in Sansa 4, and then in Sansa 5 is when she begs for Ned's life.
Right. In the throne room.
And then you get this. I think
okay, y'all see what I mean? Liz is our resident Sansa expert.
No, I've written about Sansa 4. That's why I know that.
You can give whatever excuse you want, but you just twirled off where the quotes were and everything else. It seemed like fairly right off the tip of your tongue to me. Modesty is very beautiful in any person, but we know you know your shit.
I tried, but
AU Bagwell says, Jen, I would have gotten distracted with the cookies too. Yeah, my friend's oven is out, and I had went by there to help out because her cousin had a seizure, and her little girl, their oven's broken. Like I said, handed me a pack of cookies and asked me if I would please make them for her. So yes, I'm going to make her the cookies and put them in a little container and carry them over there.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, so I think, you know, what was I going to say about Sansa? Oh, I am going to write another meta soon about this chapter and the next one, the next Daenerys chapter, because I think there's some overlap and similarities that are really interesting in the structure of the chapters. So, but as far as knowing a lot, like when you write fanfic, you really have to know your shit or people will call you out on it. And like, I like, even when
most definitely,
even when you intentionally change things, like
you're cutting, you're bouncing,
you know, you're changing something. Like I've got,
you're bouncing, so I'm gonna mute, and then you say what
people really like get about stuff. Okay,
you got it now. Like rethought that now.
Oh, okay. No, I was just saying that when you write fanfic, you really have to know your shit because people will call you out in the comments, even when you intentionally change things. If they don't like that you made that change or whatever, they will, you know, say stuff. And so that's why I think when you're writing that stuff, you really have to know it, or they're gonna come for you. And so,
no, definitely. And I'll tell you where else they'll come for you at. I learned this the hard way when I first really got into just looking for anything, A Song of Ice and Fire related. When I had, this was right before Dance came out, that Christmas of, you know what I mean? I think it was the Christmas of 12 that Dance came out. And, and I had been going on the A Song of Ice and Fire website, you know, westeros.org. And if you're going to post in a thread there, be prepared to get ripped a new one unless you know what you're talking about. Oh, hey, Milt, welcome. Y'all, Milt and Felicia and BBM and them are still doing, and Mary B, they're still doing their Citadel of Trivia every Friday night. I'm not sure what the subject is this week, but by all means, if somebody has a link, put it up in here. Okay, Mandy says, for real, people, just call you out on shit just because I can only imagine. To me, though, if you have enough imagination, took the time and put it out there, I have mad respect.
Thank you. Yeah, no, and people are generally usually really nice, but every once in a while, man, you get some people who are not.
I find that to be true in most situations, you know, no matter what it is. You'll have, most people are just delightful, and then you have that one person who is horrible. And as Madonna and then Lady Gaga said, that's all you remember is the criticism. And I wanted to say hey to Milt again. And y'all don't forget about trivia tomorrow night. Okay, keeping with the chat, just gonna go over a few more things. I want to say night to Kerri. She wasn't feeling the best. Thank you for popping in, and have a good night. Um, Anybody else see something in the chat that they would like um, to read out that I'm not getting? Kerri McDonald said, I want to read this out. She said, I got to say bye, my friends, and the amazing Liz, of course. See y'all next week. Hugs and kisses to everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it's good, Reese. It's good to have you back. You know, sometimes things aren't always as they seem. And now that we follow each other on Twitter, if you ever need to talk to me, hit me on Twitter. Johnny the Irish Wildling, are you still in here? Because I wanted to ask you about that microphone again that you told me about.
Also, I
really like our little group here. I do too, Mandy, and I really like you being a part of it. And by the way, I don't know if you've been blonde or if that's new, but I really was digging your Facebook page today. Reese, yeah, babe, sounds perfect. We follow each other on Twitter. You can text me anytime. Anybody can. I'm easy to find. I'm Jennifer Wolverton, 1976 at Twitter. Jennifer Wolverton on Messenger. Jennifer Wolverton on Facebook. If you friend me, I'll friend you. AU Pack Mule says, poor brand. Are you talking about our brand on the panel? I think that you are. Brand, please. Anything you'd like to say?
Does anyone have anything else to say about the chapter? I want to hear Liz tell us about the
right. I see that in the chat now several times, and then I saw where Kerri said something, and I wanted to text her like,
I was just waiting on Liz to get done with her overview.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would certainly like to hear Brand speak more as well, but well, me and Brand have met and we know each other, and he speaks when he has something to say, I guess is the way to put it.
Anyway, back to the chapter. I liked how Sansa kept saying my lord, and then he would correct her, and she kept on all the way until the end saying my lord, and Joffery was just being like a big old baby, like, what are you going to get me for my name day?
Right. I remember that, and I remember it seemed to me the way it read to me was just like, where at one time, you know, excuse me, especially getting to go to a tournament and something such as that would have been the highlight, you know, of everything for her. And you get the feeling that at this time she just thinks of like name day presents as, you know, who gives an F?
Yeah, like you just cut off her dad's head and you expect her to be thinking about what she's going to get you for your birthday. It's just very
I don't know what she'd like to get him. Go ahead, Bran.
I was just saying he's very self-centered and he thinks he's the son.
He certainly does. He certainly does.
Yeah, no, he is. And he also, like, I noticed one thing I didn't mention, he says things about like women being weak, and he says Cersei's weak. She cried when Jaime got, defeat taken. She heard about Jaime getting defeated, and so she's, Joffrey's just terrible.
Yes, he really is. And, you know, that's the thing. I know people are warming up to Sansa, but just imagine being, what is it in the books, 11, 12-year-old girl, the pinnacle. I mean, the best you can do in life is to marry the future king, right? And that's what she's going to do. Then she meets him, thinks he's handsome. You know, she thinks her life is settled and it's going to be wonderful. She admires Cersei. But then the longer as we go on and we get to see the characters in the story progress, that's what I love about Sansa, is that you see that she realizes really that maybe everything that glitters is not gold. Okay, Antique Gamer says the actor who did Joffrey did an amazing job. It is hard to hate a character that much. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, I think his name is Jack Gleason. He really is brilliant. I 100% agree with that. And I want to also say good night to Nancy T. I think she has to she's tired, and so glad that you came. Amanda Duncan says straight up spoiled brat psycho equals Joffrey.
Yes. Yeah, Joffrey's is a total spoiled brat.
Graham, what's your take on it?
On how spoiled Joffrey is?
Yeah, just what do you think there was ever any hope for him, or was he just a bad seed? Yeah, who all has seen that old black and white movie about the little girl who kills the boy? Basically, does anybody in the chat on the panel know what I'm talking about? The little girl has taps on her shoes, and she did not win the spelling prize or something at the school picnic. So she pushes him in the lake, and then when he's trying to get out, she takes off his shoe and hits him with the metal, and he drowns. And they have, I guess, a groundskeeper called Leroy, and he was like, yeah, I mean, definitely Joffrey reminds me that was a movie, but who thinks he was just a bad seed, and who thinks there was ever any help for him? Chat.
I think maybe if you raised him right, he would have been right. But I mean, he was raised wrong his whole life, and everything that he did was right, and it was okay. So, you know, that there was no hope for him after that. Really, when he cut the cat open, that was pretty crazy.
Oh, when he opened the cat pregnant with the kittens?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sick.
I think he was I mean, I agree with you, Bran. I think there was no real hope. And I think it's you figure like Cersei was pretty cruel. Like she pushed somebody down a well when she was a kid. And then you've got
like
Robert.
10 years old, right?
Yeah. And then you've got Robert, who was just, well, he's not really his father, but still Robert was who he thought was his father. And Robert is just a drunk, abuse.
So you're saying Robert was basically
hits you.
Yeah, you're cutting out. Can you say that again about Robert being a drunken abuser and whatnot? Can you hear me?
See? No. Oh yeah. Next week I'm telling you it's going to be so much better.
I know, and mine is too, because they actually, like I had told you guys before, they came out last Friday. It was, and it actually, I called him up today and we did tests on it, but just every once in a while, like it bumps me off my phone. And like I said, that'll be when I don't even have 4 devices in this same, you know what I mean, running. So I know he had to go outside and do something on the pole. I think it's probably just a small thing, but he has to fix it.
Yeah.
So
but
I wanted to put this in the chat. Amanda Duncan says, sorry to duck out, but I am going to try to sleep. I will watch the rest tomorrow. Love you all. We love you and Sadie too. And we're probably fixing to wrap up as well. So, but good night, Amanda Duncan. Antique Gamer. Joffery had no hope from the time he was born. He was a bad seed from the start. Like the Targaryens, they can either be bad or good. What is it they say when a Targaryen's born? They flip a coin.
Yep. You flip a coin. And so Joffery got when they flipped his coin, man.
Step to Shayna's Secret says, night, guys. Thanks. And Jen, I emailed you a file since you've been working on your channel stuff. Thank you so much. And thank you for noticing, because I went to the arthritis doctor and I told him, I said, look, I'm trying to change things and I've got to be able to work on the computer, not only for our YouTube book club, but because I need 2 classes. I thought it was 3. I actually need 2 classes to finish my paralegal degree, which requires quite a bit of typing. And my arm, that I had an arm surgery, you guys, where they just cut, I think it's called the clavicle. Yeah, they cut the clavicle on my right side and put it in the back. But it still catches. I mean, it just wasn't enough, and my body rejected the screws. Really crazy stuff. I'm just going to go through the chat real quick and make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, I'm sorry, Marty, if you've already left. Marty's staying by and I missed it. AU writes, little boys mostly. What were we talking about in reference to that?
What was the comment again? It cut out for a minute.
Little boys mostly.
I don't remember. I don't know what that's in reference to.
Okay.
I don't know either. Where is that at in the chat?
AU wrote it. Hey, Lady Dreamfire. Jeffrey was guided by his mother's behavior, but he actually surpassed her behavior. When he became king, he definitely felt, I think, that he could boss her, as we saw. At the very least, Tyrion was the only person who really ever disciplined him. Go ahead, Liz.
Yeah, and I just think also, he did, and he did follow her behavior some and then surpass it. But also Robert was probably a pretty terrible father.
He was basically an absentee father who lived in the home.
And if you look at like Ned, so Ned wasn't John's father, but John thought Ned was his father. And, Ned really guided them and John and tried to guide the kids to, Ned had his problems. We can talk about Ned as a parent. I think he made a lot of mistakes too.
Absolutely. But and I think all parents do. I mean, I'm not a mother. God, I wish I was. But my mom has told me before, it's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
It truly is. And all the parents in the chat, AU, I believe you're a parent of 3 daughters. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Is that trial and error, or do you get a little bit better with everyone? My husband had 2 daughters, and he said that he was always okay with that, whereas a lot of people want sons because daughters play with flowers, or his did.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just think that, if you look at part of Joffrey's problem too, I mean, he's got a lot of problems, but Robert just being a terrible father was also didn't help anything. It didn't, there was really not a lot of guidance going on there. So, yeah. Joffery's just terrible. One of the things I want to say about this chapter too is that Sansa's got some great lines in.
I think you're cutting out a bit, but I think what you're trying to see is we finally get to see that Sansa
chapter. A question on I
go ahead.
What? Oh,
I'm so sorry, y'all. I have no idea what this is. Hold on.
Oh, that's okay. But I was just saying that Sansa's got some great lines in this chapter, and she's just, I love when she's being really snarky.
I love it when she's being this way too.
Yeah.
She's very sly.
Yeah, no, she is. She's just very...
Like, Joffrey thinks, like, she's thinking about how Joffrey thinks that he's playing a joke on her, you know, but, like, the whole time she's playing a joke on him.
Right, right. No, she definitely is. She definitely is. And I think, you know, I see Sansa as kind of like, she's playing the long game here. And, you know, a lot of people, I mean, they talk about her going, I said earlier, from pawn to player. And I think that's interesting, you know, now in the story.
In this chapter,
especially
I believe that she's a big queen in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't hardly hear you, Bran.
I was just saying in this
turn you up. It got turned down. Hold on.
Hello?
Yeah, that's
much better. Much better.
I was just saying that in this chapter, you know, she still believes that she's going to be the queen. Because when she's talking to Mary Trent, she's like, you know, one day when I'm the queen.
Well, when he takes her out to the battlements, and she's like, I just want to go home. I just want to go home. He's
right.
Oh, mother says I'm still to marry you. And he asks her when she'll be able to have a child. And she says, Septum ordained said when I was 12 or 13. And I believe she's 11 here.
Yeah. Yeah. He's ready to, oh my God. It's so
Put
terrible.
a baby in her belly, I think is
really
show.
Which is just, you know, too young.
Right, right. Okay, Antique Gamer says, my son is my daughter and my daughter is my son. I let them be the beautiful people they want to be. It is their happiness that matters most. I couldn't agree more if I was a parent. I haven't had the pleasure, and it makes me sad. Perhaps it's not quite too late. I have had several girlfriends, have children at 43, and if my body could handle it, I certainly would. I would certainly want to be a mother. But you know, there's more than, you don't have to give birth to be a mother necessarily, right? I mean, Ned was John's father through and through. Oh, hey, LMR. Thank you for stopping by to say hello. LMR says, hello, my lovelies. Been a long day, stopping by to say hi. Thank you. I very much appreciate that. Very much. Now, Bran, I think everybody thinks I don't let you talk. Please say anything you would like to say. Anything.
I don't.
That kind of hurts my feelings. What'd you say, hon?
I was saying I don't remember what we last said about the chapter.
We're talking about having like Sansa
like,
having.
Would Joffrey be bad or not? Could he have been saved? Was that where you were going, Liz, or where do you think we were?
Well, I was saying about how we were saying how Sansa still has to be queen. Like, she's still thinking she has to marry Joffrey, right? In this chapter. So there's...
Right.
You know, that's terrifying prospect.
Yeah, I mean, he killed his dad, and he enjoyed it, and she knew it.
Yeah, and he said that like whenever she does have a baby, if it's dumb, he's gonna cut off her head or something and get him a smarter wife.
What?
Yeah, he does say that.
What does he say?
He says that when he gets her pregnant, if the baby's stupid, he's gonna cut off her head and get a smarter wife.
Damn. I missed that. That's why I love rereads, you guys. You pick up more tidbits every time.
Yeah. Where is it?
It's whenever he's asking her about, whenever she's gonna flower.
Yeah, exactly. Here it is. If the first one is stupid, I'll chop off your head and find a smarter wife. When do you think you'll be able to have children? And, and Sansa says she could not look at him. He shamed her so. So it's not even that she gets scared. It's the shame. That
things he says to her. Because, correct me if you guys think I'm wrong, chat as well, as always. But the way someone treats you, especially in front of others, opens the door for them to treat you as bad or badly.
Right.
And that's what Joffery does. He doesn't show her the respect of a future queen and princess, or what her rank would be. They didn't do it exactly like, but I would consider probably Lord Eddard probably a duke, which would actually make her a princess already. But, just, there's not much more to say about Joffery other than he's a right little shit. Oh my goodness. Is the chat, can y'all hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay. Liz, you good?
In the first... Oh, I broke out. Yeah, now it's okay.
All right, you guys. It's 10:03. And what I want to do now is, hey dog, it's good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Let's just look real quick and see if there's anything here in the chat. And if not, go ahead and put it in there. Any observation you had, any Q&A, anything you think.
And I want to leave with one last thought of a line that the first line of this chapter I really love, and it's in the tower room at the heart of Maker's holdfast, Sansa gave herself to the darkness. And I just think that's so beautiful and also telling of, I think there's a lot of meaning there for the whole book and themes of the book and darkness and light.
I agree. I'd like to actually take a look at that more closely.
Of just, she's, I think, there's a lot of going, you go down into the darkness to come back up into the light. So this is where she really starts to go down and take that journey into the underworld, I guess you could say, perhaps. Anyways, but I love that line. Really nice. It's really good.
Right. All right. Okay. Lady Dreamfire says, good night, everyone. Thank you, Lady Wolverton. Jen. Just call me Jen if you like. My name is Jennifer Wolverton, but since I've been very young, my brother started just calling me Jen, and everybody kind of followed, But she says good night to me and to and to Liz.
Thank
And
you.
good night to you.
Good night, Green Fire.
Yes. Mandy, you're going to bed. Good night to you. Let's, before everybody jets off next week, it's Daenerys. What is it, Bran?
9.
Daenerys 9, chapter 68.
Yep.
Okay, and we have that Daenerys, and then I believe it's Tyrion, Jon, Caitlyn, and then Daenerys, and we're through a Game of Thrones.
Woohoo!
We've done an entire book, which is no mean feat, y'all.
Yeah.
We've missed a few times, but not even once a month, you know? So, but we are going to, and I've talked about this before, change the format up a little bit. And sometimes, like we did, what that was last week, where we did Arya and the Brand together because they were both together, maybe only 35 minutes. Fran?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we should combine any chapters that, the longest chapters in the book are what, like 45 minutes in general for the audiobook, I know, because it tells you or whatever. So, if we get to one 20-minute chapter and one 15-minute chapter, what we're going to start doing is combining that because we want to knock this out and hopefully we'll be ready to cover Winds of Winter when it comes out.
Mm.
You guys, can you even imagine having book club that much longer?
I don't know. I think it's coming. I think it's going to come after the show. I think they're going to.
Right. And I think the reason is to keep up with the merchandising.
Yeah.
They sell plenty of Game of Thrones gear. Then they just came out with the Fire and Blood, the Targaryen histories. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't get a Stark history and then get the Winds of Winter, just to maximize.
No, I don't think. I think this. I think A Song of Ice and Fire is the Stark history, more or less. Yes.
Chat, what do you think about that? Everybody in the chat.
Well, that might be an unpopular belief. It's a little bit different.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense. I
don't know.
Antique Gamer says, Liz, can you type in the chat so I can sub to your channel? Have you typed in the chat yet, Liz?
I can, you know what? I was trying to get on it. It's kicking me off it.
If you can't get on there,
I'll try. I'll try again. It was not. I was trying on my iPad.
And I think AU left. Or Reese, do you know? Is there any way that I can actually type in Crazy Girl Productions or pull it up from my subs or anything like that to get that? It's Antique Gamer. It's Crazy, CRAZEE Girl Productions, all one word, and you'll see it. And she's got quite a few videos that are out there. They're enjoyable and nice. I enjoy your content very much.
Just
what is that, guys?
okay. And I hope in the near future I'm going to put up more audio of my fix. Fingers crossed that all happens. We'll see. I'm in talks about how that's going to work. So.
Okay. Antique Gamer, if you will look at 943 under Martinez, no, under Nancy T. No, under Martinez, but Nancy T says, thank you, great book club, at Lady Wolverton's Den, at Crazy Girl Productions, at Branwyk Blackwood.
Oh,
Okay, Living My Rhapsody says, night, lovelies, I got a dash. I completely understand. It's 10:10 already. Everybody make a wish. Who
nice.
got in high school?
I did.
You didn't or you did?
I did.
I did too. Whenever it was like 10, you know what I mean? 10:10 or 5:05 or whatever what we used to do. We had this thing where we would kiss our fingers and touch the top of the roof of our car and make a wish.
Yeah.
Very silly, but something we did. I can copy the link. Okay, I'm gonna have to go out and do that then. That's why I made her a moderator, but she's not allowed. For some reason, Why can't you type right now? Because you're.
Because it keeps crashing. YouTube keeps crashing on my iPad.
Okay.
So I'm just having technical difficulties.
I hear you. And you guys, when I first started streaming, which was, I believe, season 5, just guesting a bit. Well, that was easy because when you're just a guest, you just come on and talk. But then when I started the channel back, we would do reviews of the show every night back in season 7, and then wanted to keep it going. So tried to think of something and came up with the concept of, hey, not everybody's read the books. Let's do a summary or overview so that you really, it's better if you read the chapter for yourself, because if you're like me, when you read something, what you see in your head or the way you interpret it is different than anybody else. You understand? I know you guys understand. I probably think everybody in this chat understands that.
Well, you guys, I'm about to hop off here and go to bed.
Okay, could you wait just one sec?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to tell you something. But I'm going to Crazy Girl Productions right now. Try to put that out there. I've got to get to it.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just looking for, I've got to go down my list. I have like 200 subs. I have a lot of subs.
I know.
People who don't even have, necessarily have content, because you never know when somebody will start to have content. I remember that's Chrissy of Old Stones. I subbed to her before she started doing her narrations, and then when she started with her narrations, the notifications popped up.
Yeah.
So I have pulled your page up. I know, right, dog? I was able to make her a moderator by going out, and I used to know how to pop the chat out. What do you do? Open another tab and go to my same channel and pop the chat out? Is that how you do that? I try not to fool, so that's why I do the chat on my phone, you guys, and only do the computer, because one time I accidentally ended the chat before. I've made plenty of mistakes doing this. I accidentally deleted quite a few videos the other day, and I don't know if I can get all of them back. I'm certainly not. I don't think I used to be a verified partner before they had so many rules, but at this point, I just don't have enough subs to be verified. But I've actually had the channel since 2014. Okay, Girl Productions. Okay. I am going to just put it, I can write it in the chat, because I can't copy and paste from the computer to my phone, but I'm going to write how it's spelled, and you'll be able to find it. Okay. It's C-R-A-V-E. Okay, there's where we're going wrong, you guys. It's not G-I-R-L, it's G-R-L. Very cute. There you go. Okay.
Now it's working a little bit. It might cut me off on here, though. That's what I'm worried about.
That's great, though, that you got it. Yeah. Gamer says, I tried finding a pen to spell it correctly and have only just found a pen and paper to write it down to spell it correctly. So thank you. Yeah, that's for Antique Gamer. That's probably where you were going wrong. You're putting girl, G-I-R-L, instead of G-R-L.
Yeah. Sorry, I have a weird channel name, but
I think it's years ago. And you know what? I've seen people change their name 2-3 times, or just make a completely different channel.
Yeah, I mean, this one is fun. I'm not gonna, you know.
Or just erase what you had, and I think it's actually a rule. I think you can only change your name or something like that, like every so often. It has to be like, I think, every 30 or 60 days. Like, you can't do it every day. You know, yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's some rules behind that. But yeah, you can go in an already channel that I already have some subs to and change the name or what have you, but you can't do it like every day and stuff.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Ree, can you put the channel link in the stream? The channel link is the URL, correct? I don't know where to find it on just her page. If somebody could instruct me, I know how to find it on a video. Am I making sense here? Yeah, Antique Gamer. You can change your name every 90 days now. Exactly right, dog. You know, and y'all, forgive me. I'm self-taught with YouTube videos and Google, and AU Pack Mule sat with me on, you know, a Hangouts call, and I had a notepad and a piece of paper and wrote down the steps to do live stream. You know, a lot of people help me, and I don't mind helping people either. And like I said, there's a lot of people here who are creators. We've got Dog Sidious in here. I think Antique Gamer as well. All you have to do is hit their icon, go to channel, and subscribe. And even if they don't have content, like I said, I've been subscribed to somebody before who did some beautiful narration, you know? So I got to see it from its inception, and that was nice. But I think that's everything. I don't see anything in the chat. Next week, like we said, it's a Daenerys chapter. Daenerys, what, 12, Bran?
9.
My bad.
9.
Daenerys 9, chapter 67. And that's right?
Yeah.
No, it's chapter 68, is it?
Yeah, it's 68.
Okay, Daenerys 9, chapter 68, and about how, let me look how long that is. I don't really want to double them up this close, but I do want to push through. And I've got my bookie right here. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, Daenerys. It's actually a pretty long chapter, if I'm looking at this correctly. No, I'm not, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's about 6 pages. And then after that is Tyrion, Tyrion is only like 4 pages. Do you guys think we should double up next week? Chat, give us your opinion on that. We've only done that one other time, but we're trying to push through, like I said, so we can go on and get to Clash and, hopefully be in a position to be able to go straight into Winds of Winter. What do you think, Bran?
I don't think we should double up.
No. I think it would have been better to double up this Sansa chapter and the next and Daenerys, because I think they go together. But I'm not sure about the Daenerys and Tyrion one.
Well,
sorry,
at the end are pretty good.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So that's the only thing about doubling up. The end chapters are so important. I think especially the last chapter in the book. Definitely don't want to double the last Daenerys, because we want to then do a post view of everything that really stuck out to us in the first book.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Daenerys 8. No, Daenerys 9, chapter 68. And let me take one more peek at the chats. Okay, so till next Thursday, you guys, 8 o'clock Central here. Just want to say thank y'all so much for popping by. I know it's a big deal to stop everything you're doing and do something for 2 hours, because time is precious. So thank you so much, Reese O, Antique Gamer, Terry T, Mandolin 523, Mandy, Dog Show, Dog Sidious, Vengeance, Terry T. AU, who I believe has already left, Lady Dreamfryer, Elamar, who popped in and had to go. Amanda, who came and had to leave earlier. Anybody I'm missing? I can't scroll any further back. Wait, here's something. Antique Gamer. People forget about the 9 months the baby spends in the mother's womb. That time does have effect on a baby before they are born. If the mother is scared, she can pass this on to the baby.
True.
I believe that's true, and there's definitely something to that. All right. So with that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, Lady Jennifer. I know I can do it. I just didn't have anybody to do it. Mm-hmm. But she got it. So thank goodness for that. Usually things work out, thank goodness. But like I said, I'm self-taught. I had a couple college classes. Other than that, self-taught. And I will help whenever. All right. Well, with that, we'll see y'all next week. And Daenerys 9, chapter 68. Everybody have a great week. Good night, and thanks so much for coming by.
All right. Bye.